to the Big Apple School podcast. My name is Nina.
And mine is John.
And today we are going to speak about toys. So I still play with toys sometimes because I work with children here in Big Apple School. What about you, John? Do you still play with toys? Or do you interfere with them somehow?
No, I don't play with toys, I'm afraid. I'm far too old for that now.
Okay. What about playing with our little students? I know that you work with them too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you play with them on your lessons?
Well, unfortunately, most of the lessons now are online, so that's quite difficult. But once we return to classroom lessons, yes, sure, I would use toys to try and improve their English.
That's great. I also do the same. And I think that all the children here in Big Apple School enjoy it. By the way, what comes to your mind when you hear the word toy? What is your first association?
I think of things, obviously, that I had when I was a child. And I think the thing that springs into mind first is Meccano.
Oh, can you explain what is it? Because here in Russia, we don't have such an association.
Well, actually, you do have it, but it's called something else. But it's practically identical. It was a kit form of strips of metal with pre-drilled holes and small metal plates with pre-drilled holes and wheels and nuts and bolts. You could assemble these things to make things. The smallest kits you could make, like a little crane or a little car. But the more sophisticated and obviously more expensive ones, they had little electric motors.
Oh my God.
You could build huge constructions, and they were quite complicated. It was quite a good educational toy for budding engineers. And I believe there is something, I don't know what it's called, but there is something almost identical for sale in Russia today.
Yeah, I think we had and we have still such a toy, and we call it metal constructor. And yeah, typical it's for boys, but I think it's for the good because girls maybe get bored with it pretty fast because, like all of the girls love dolls, talking dolls, different babies and blah, blah, blah stuff like mothers and daughters.
That's interesting you said that, Nina. It's for girls. Now, of course, 50 years ago when I was a child playing with toys, yes, there were boys' toys and girls' toys. And Meccano was very much a boys' toy, whereas Cindy, which is a doll, was very much a girl's toy. But I don't think you can get away with saying things like that in England anymore. There are toys, but they are certainly not gender assigned. How different things were 50 years ago when you played doctors and nurses, and the doctor was always the boy and the nurse was always the girl.
Oh, actually, in my family, we've got only sisters. We have no boys, unfortunately. And every time we played, doctors and nurses, we were all girls here. But I wasn't really interested in this game because I preferred books, different crayons and paints in my childhood. And for me, reading was more interesting than playing with everything. And I think this is more productive and more effective to any child to evolve and develop his imagination with art therapy or whatever, than playing with different educational toys. Because for now, one of my nephew, he's got a lot of mechanical toys, just like robotic toys. They produce different stuff, music, or they play poems, nursery rhymes. But what for? He doesn't know anything of it. He doesn't repeat after them. The toy is smarter than my nephew, and I think it's kind of boring or kind of sad for me, actually. So I think no matter how actually you interfere with it, toys, you need to remember about the age range, for example, or some kind of gender diversity here, because we need to help our children to play with toys and to develop their skills somehow. And metal constructor, you called it
Meccano.
Meccano, yes. I think it's for boys because they could grow as mechanics. They could grow as engineers. It's not typical, like girlish jobs, occupations. And for girls, it's more important to develop such skills as, kindness as mercy or whatever, some kind of helping each other. So for them, toys should be softer, I don't know, more cuddling or whatever.
Well, I'm afraid, Nina, that would be deemed as heresy in England and probably Western Europe. Yes, girls are almost forced to play with boys' toys now, and boys, the opposite, to play. Why should the boy not play with a doll? However, boys will be boys and girls will be girls, and boys are naturally attracted, it seems to me, to the what were traditionally boys' toys. They'll play with the action man, they'll play with the guns, they'll play soldiers, and the nurses will play with dolls. Sorry, the girls will play with dolls.
Yes.
The thing about toys is, I think there's the modern ones have taken some of the learning usefulness out of them. They do everything for you. Things with lots of flashing lights that make noise. You just press a button and it does everything.
Yeah.
Well, once you put the batteries in, once you turn it on, that's it. You've done everything you can with it. Whereas at least with a Meccano set or Lego, which I know is still popular, you build something. When you finish building it, you take it apart and build something else. There must be, when you're young, you learn how these things fit together. Nuts and bolts fit together. Whereas something you take out of a box, your father sticks the batteries in, and there's an on-off switch. You don't learn much from that, really, do you?
Yeah, I totally agree with you here, because I think when we speak about toys, we should follow the rule of 3E. New experience, the first E. The second, express themselves. And the next is explore. And when you play with different constructors, Lego, Meccanos, or whatever, you can create the creature of yourself. For example, I don't know, some kind of robotic dog, I don't know, or some kind of mechanical dancer, and create the story to speak about it, maybe in the evening with your family, or make some photos and then show it to your grandmothers and grandfathers. And here, with just like, I don't know, simple turn off and turn on toys, we don't have such opportunity to create an imagination of a child, and it's a pity, and it's sad, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned you when you were a child, you really enjoyed painting and colouring and drawing. Did you have a thing, or I think it's still available in Russia, a thing called painting by numbers, where you have a drawing. And each drawing is divided up into little sections with a little number in it, and the number tells you what colour to paint. Oh,
I think yes, but I wasn't interested in it because I didn't, and I don't remember anything with numbers in my childhood. But my mom, she can draw and sketch really well, and she always drew us some princesses, of course, some different fairies, some animals, some, I don't know, magic sceneries, and we color it, and we really enjoyed it. And I was a kind of, like an elder sister, and then I drew such pictures for my little sisters. So for me, it was more like create something myself than follow numbers. But I think it's kind of cool, even for now, when I'm an adult, I can do it, because I think it's kind of meditation. You follow the numbers step by step, and you follow the colors, and it's cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed drawing and painting when I was a child. I still will dabble these days, drawing, not painting so much, but I like to sketch occasionally. But it's a good thing to develop one's creative skills when you're young and keep them going when you're older.
I also think so. Do you remember what did you draw when you were a boy?
Oh, I once entered a painting competition. I think I was about 7, and it was a watercolor paint, obviously, and it was a tiger in a forest. And I actually won a prize, which I've still got. It's a book of fairy stories.
That's great, I think.
But that was back in the 1960s. Did you ever enter any competitions with your paintings and drawings?
I think not. maybe in school, some kind of literature lesson, something typical, educational, nothing special here. But I regularly took part in competitions with, creations, different models, or different girlish stuff, like embroideries or whatever. And for me, it was good. I really loved it because you can see not only your creation, but different the creations of your friends, and it was good. I think it's more important than taking part in it when you're a girl or a little boy. You need to look to different points of view on this. For example, how can people create a bird from a Play-Doh, maybe on sticks, in so many different ways, and you need to learn them. You need to watch them, look at them, and admire them too. I think it's really cool.
What do you think of today's toys, the modern ones, compared with things you had when you were a child? And when I was a child, they didn't have computers in them, or most of them were. If they had any power source, it was clockwork. We had to wind them up with a key.
Yes, I also like it. We had a mechanical dog, and you need to wind it up with a little key, or little pretty key, and it was good. Just kind of an act of magic here. But for now, you just turn it on and it does its stuff. I don't like it. And for me, as a girl, actually played only with girlish stuff. I can say that modern dolls scared me a lot, because when I was little, my dream was, I guess, of any Russian girl, was to have a Barbie from Mattel. It was just number one dream. The second was a Happy Meal toy, whatever it can be. And I really wanted this Barbie. I don't know what for, but I really wanted it. And for now, we have kind of freaky dolls with a really big head, extremely big to their body, or zombie doll. We have in toy shop different Monster Academy dolls. I don't understand why it is good for the little girls, why it is beautiful. I can't get the concept of it, because Barbie, it was just like a human body, whatever. She was like a princess, this doll, and it was good. So she's beautiful, she is maybe smart somehow. If you have a Barbie cooker or whatever, or a Barbie teacher, or it's Barbie princess, and you can follow your dream, create your story. And here I've got, a doll werewolf in a mini, on high heels, just extremely high heels. And how can I play with that? What is the story behind her? Is it an Instagram model or whatever from a fairy tale? I don't like it, really. I'm for simple toys which can develop imagination. And actually for some, crayons and albums for watercoloring or coloring by numbers, I think it's better for children. And I actually can say that I enjoy, stuffed animals. I know that teddy bears were actually an important part of childhood, but for now I think it's changed, because every child can choose his own protector in bed, not only teddy but different rabbits, monkeys, even elephants, snakes. I think the diversity is good there, but for me it's kind of not typical, because in my childhood we had only bears or rabbits. What about your childhood, child?
Oh, well, we had bears. Did we have a rabbit? Yes, we had a rabbit. Dogs, a cat. I know they were available, things like giraffes and lions and stuff, but that was the limit of what we had in our house, of the soft toy variety. I remember one particular, it was a type of poodle, had another clockwork wind-up mechanism in its stomach that could make it bark.
Oh my God.
But I think it broke very quickly. And did we have anything with... No, we didn't have anything with batteries. One of the greatest disappointments to me, I presume to any other child, is that you're given a present on Christmas Day, which requires batteries. And the person who's giving it to you forgets to buy the batteries, and the shops are shut.
Of course.
No batteries.
It's a personal tragedy, I think. Oh, yes. I think it's like good.
So, yes, but there was, you mentioned Barbie, and of course Barbie's been around for, I don't know, it was certainly around when I was a child and had been around for a while. But, of course, that was, as you said, mainly a girl's toy. But there was a boy's doll we could play with.
Yeah, they called it Ken, as far as I remember, yes.
But I never had one of those. But I did have what was called an action man. Now, is there a Russian equivalent of that? It was a doll. We could move his arms and legs, and it was a soldier. And you could dress it in different uniforms. And so it was a doll for boys. And you could, you could buy various types. You could buy a tank for the thing, I had a Gemini space capsule for mine, so I dressed it as an astronaut. But after you dressed it and you stuck it in its capsule, then what do you do with it?
Run around it. Yes, and play like aliens.
But was there a Russian, or is there a Russian equivalent of a
I think we don't have, and we didn't have in my time. We don't have now like a boyish doll or whatever. We've got different action figures like toy soldiers, but they are, I guess, not taller at 10 centimeters, so they're not big, and there is definitely no any clothes for it. So you can only buy this action figure and pretend that you're a bad guy or you're a good guy with it. So kind of this. Mostly we have different options like dresses and like cars for dolls. Yeah,
there's another thing that I used to do a lot when I was a child. It was a company called Airfix, and they made plastic kits which you could then assemble, so you could make aeroplanes and cars, and everybody had a Spitfire, everybody had a Messerschmitt, everybody had a Lancaster bomber, and they've, in England at least, seem to have retreated into sort of the world of model makers, which is mainly adults, and it's a very niche area, whereas I was in the Hour a few weeks ago, and I went into that big shop in there, which is for arts and crafts and hobbies, and there was a huge display of all these boxes with these plastic preformed parts to stick together and paint to make your aeroplanes and your ships and your tanks and so is that a big thing in Russia? Did you do that when you were a child now?
No, actually not. We've got some like collages from color paper or whatever, something simple, but nothing dealing with models. And I actually can't say here anything because I would like to maybe Google it later after our podcast, to have something to speak even in Russian here.
Okay. So now, of course, I've just been talking about military type things. Action Man was a soldier first and foremost. He got a gun, you buy him a tank. I'm talking about military aircraft then. I think in the West, at least, there's a lot of people would think twice about buying their children militarized toys. Is that the same here, do you think?
I think not. Here we can, in Russia, and then especially speaking about my childhood, it was, like an image for a boy, Barbie, a princess for a girl, and a military man, a true soldier, dedicated to his country for a boy. So it's kind of good here, like ordinary stuff. And I think just like computer games here, they can be more, dangerous for little kids and children because they provide aggression or violence, and they keep it like it's okay. Because here in computer games, they can kill different, like maybe animals or maybe they are enemies or whatever. And then here, like in true life, not virtual, they continue to do it maybe. So I think it's more about computer games that are dangerous, and actually you could think twice about buying it or not, or allow to play it or not to your kids.
Yes, this is the new modern toy is the computer game. Now, I'm quite ignorant about this because I've never played a computer game in my life, but I've read a few things about the influence of computer games on people, on children, that you can play these very violent games like Mortal Kombat, I believe is one of them, which just runs into several series. And you're fighting this incredibly bloody war, but there's no consequences.
Of course, you can just go sever some people, and it's okay.
Yeah, which desensitizes perhaps people to the actual consequences of their actions. What do you think?
I think actually that age range is the most important thing here when you choose a computer game to your child. And I'm here for more educational games, maybe try to learn some alphabet or sounds or some, math, some bases, or speaking, stories with your child, or terms like talking toys. It would be better than allow to play games where you can kill people, or which can, deal with some, weapons, or, like fighting. I think we can actually face it because all the teenagers I have been teaching here, they play computer games. They play Counter-Strike, some kind of military game with actually killing people. And I guess for them it's okay because they understood that this is a situation of a war. Actually, it's just like past event, and they're kind of part of it only on time when they are playing it. But in real life, they don't do it. But if you're a little kid, you can play and actually, make some bad, actions when you play with your little friends or whatever, because you don't understand which is good or which is bad, actually, from your computer game, when you can kill and bite, people. So, for me, it's actually, the most important part. You should think twice for yourself and for your child.
So this brings us to the subject, is there such a thing as a good toy and a bad toy?
I think there is no an answer to this question, because everyone will have their own answer. And mine is the good toy for me, which helps to develop your skill or imagination. I'm for books, I'm for stories, I'm for just developing artistic skills more than having something like ready-made fun. And sometimes I think, yes, it's okay to have a stuffed toy near you, but it's better to have your room full of your pictures and full of your stories, because it will help you to learn how to speak faster. It will learn how to interfere with different events in your life, how to deal with people, how to, improve your communication skill when you're 5 years old and you try to explain your mother who is a Mr. Huggies was there, or who is Mr. Broccoli. So for me, that's it. What about you, John? What is bad and good?
Yeah, I sort of agree with you there, Nina, that anything that stimulates the creative mind must be a positive. So painting, drawing, Lego, Meccano, doing something, creating something. Something where you just switch it on and the lights flash is, one, not only boring, but pointless. I've heard of people who've bought very expensive toys for children at Christmas, and they're very big, and they put the batteries in and they've turned it on, and within 10 minutes the child's put the toy to one side and is more interested in the box that it came in, because they can turn it into a den or a house. And so they're being creative with the box, but the very expensive electronic gadget is pushed to one side. So I think I don't think these ones which just have flashing lights, etc., are per se bad. I just think they're possibly a waste of money. But I think there are some toys out there that might have a negative effect, and I think they're the ones you alluded to, that maybe a little bit too violent, desensitize people to the consequences of their actions. And computer games themselves, if you're playing them for hours and hours a day, they can become addictive. And what about getting outside and getting some fresh air and getting some exercise? there have been instances in Britain of people getting rickets again. Now, this was a disease, which was thought to have been eradicated. It was common, well, not common, but used to occur 70, 80 years ago, and was caused by a vitamin D deficiency. And in those days, it was because people lived in dark, dank, horrible conditions.
Yeah, opposite side.
It's reappeared. It's because children are spending all day inside playing computer games and not getting any sunshine.
Yeah, but actually, definitely. And if you are a pro gamer, actually, you need to play in a dark room because you need to, watch and look at your marvelous computer full of, light and etc. So I think it's kind of type. If you play a computer game, you need to do it in a dark room. And I think it's not good for your eyes or for your health. You need to go outside and maybe play on your balcony. And there's a kind of a compromise here. But I'm here for, you can play actually for maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. It's okay. But then go outside, do something there, read a book there, sitting on a bench in the park. Or just run around your house. It's really cool. Physical activity is the best part we can do with our bodies, not just sitting here and wasting our time typing something. Speaking about typing and different time we spend in front of our computers, what do you think about electronic books?
Kindles and things. I haven't got one. I actually prefer the feel of a book, to be honest. I know if you're reading a book on an aeroplane or a train and you're traveling, you can fit a whole library on a Kindle and it's much more convenient. And if you're going on holiday, why take 12 heavy books with you? But I still rather have a book.
Okay, speaking about a child, imagine the situation that you need to give a present. Will you give an ordinary book, just like a paper, or a Kindle?
That's an interesting one. I think I might give them an ordinary book. I know some children go, "What's this?"
Yeah,
I've never seen this before. And they may put it down and pick up the electronic gadget again, and maybe giving them the Kindle would encourage them to read because they'll play with the gadget first and the book. But I still think there's something magical about opening a book, and especially for younger kids with the pictures that are in there.
Yes.
A book of nursery rhymes, the fantastic pictures, which are, I don't know, not as jarring perhaps as the flashing. I keep saying flashing lights, don't I? That the electronic gadget blaring into your eyes. A well-crafted picture, I think, is possibly better, but that's maybe just me being old.
Okay, it's not only you being old. I'm with you here in the situation. I think that just typical and classical books are the best because they have pictures, they have words typed in black, and you need to read it, you need to imagine the world inside, and you can follow the pictures to create your own story, and I think it's for the best. And Kindle, I think it's for maybe for a teenager who knows how to deal with books. And if we're speaking about how to make a child read, it's more effective to start with the ordinary classical books and maybe even go to the library, because for me it was a very good experience from my childhood. I saw a lot of books in one place, and my mom said it was their house, and for me, oh my God, it's so cool. So many books, I can read them all if I want. Yes, you can. Yep. So it was my little victory as a bookworm when I was a child.
So, what toy would you buy for a child?
I think that we need to pay attention, to the child himself or herself, to her tastes in toys. But me, I think it would be just kind of artistic kit, or a Play-Doh, or some kind of Meccano. And no dolls. No, never. I won't do this. Maybe some kind of a doll you can sew yourself, like a stuffed toy you can make yourself. But more practical, I think. And, for future, not for 10 minutes fun. Just you can actually reuse it or replay it for a lot of times. And I think it would be good for the child and for the parents too. And I would be just like the best aunt in the world for them. And I think it would be great. Yes.
I once bought a niece of mine. She was, 11, 12? It really was a sort of rather cruel prank of mine to play on her mother. I bought her an electric guitar with an amplifier.
A dream.
Yeah. Her mother's face was a picture, I can tell you.
Or a drum, I think. Toy drum.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'd already done that with her brother a few years earlier.
This is great. Actually, I think musical instruments are really a huge present to have. In my family, all of our adults, our parents, aunties, and whatever, they encouraged us to play different sounds with, like maybe pans and spoons for the first. But then we got a piano, we got a guitar, different flutes, different drums. And it was just like, okay, go with it. Have it go. Continue. And all of our sisters, we finished music schools. And for us, it was just like natural, because we loved sounds from our childhood, and we used to deal with it just like every day, because, look, Mom, I've got my electric guitar. Look, I've got a song. And Mom, yes, it was so good. You are so, great.
So what instruments can you play now?
I can play guitar and piano. Yes, and for now I'm learning how to play ukulele. And I think it would be a great opportunity here in Big Apple School to sing songs to my ukulele one day.
So you're living proof that buying the right toy for a child when they're younger can, stay with them for the rest of their life, and have great benefit, because you are obviously very musical, and you're now going to hopefully introduce this to the next generation.
Yes, I think it's just like the best way the teacher can teach kids. So look at me, do like me. So, and I would like to spread it a lot, spread it like all over the world, like take ukulele, have it go, and enjoy the sound of it. It was good. Actually, by the way, if you could be a toy, what would you be?
Oh, what would I be? I think I'd like to be a leather-bound classic novel.
Oh, okay.
So I sit on the shelf and be admired.
Oh, this is great, actually. So I actually...
And you?
I don't know. I don't want to be stuffed animal or whatever. I don't want to be a doll, and I don't want to be an action figure. I don't know. Maybe I would like to be a balloon, because I will be somewhere up to the ceiling and not in the girls' or boys' hands. Or I would like to be maybe a Lego kid, because speaking about imagination, I could be everything in proper hands. And I think it would be a great experience to be every day something new. So, the last thing to discuss is about internet. Bill Gates actually once said that about internet, that nice toy, but waste of time. What do you think about it?
Well, I think he was wrong.
Okay, why?
I don't know why he would say such a thing, because after all, he wouldn't be as rich as he is without the internet. The internet's just a wonderful piece of invention. I need to find something out. I mean, not everyone's got the time to go to the library. Even if you go to the library, is the library big enough to have the book you want? It's made information available to everybody. Well, everybody who's got a computer at least, at their fingertips, and it must have, it's a great boon to the inquiring mind. Unfortunately, the internet has the downside that it can be used to spread all sorts of unpleasant material. I won't say any more than that on it, and as such, it can also have a very negative effect on the young and impressionable.
Okay, personally, about you, how much actually time do you spend on the internet?
Actually, quite a lot these days, because I'm always searching for things to fit into my teaching lessons, and I mean, I've been using things like just looking for pictures for people to describe to improve their English. I've been using estate agents' pictures, actually. If you don't know it, estate is realtor. So people selling houses in Britain, pictures of houses, and get students to describe them. So you imagine it before the internet, I'd have to go and find some pictures in a magazine, photocopy them. But this, just bring one up. There it is, picture in front of you. Teacher resource, perfect. I also use it to watch films, old TV programs.
I also do the same, and I can download pictures for future describing, just like old days. Because what a beautiful bedroom to describe. Wow, what a living room to describe, and then you go further, somewhere in magical garden or whatever. It's pretty addictive dealing with pictures. So I think for now we can stop our discussion on this positive note. Thank you very much, John, for sharing your experience. And it was my pleasure to speak with you today. So keep calm, carry on, and bring right toys to your children. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.